Breaking news on the COVID-19 fight. The FDA has approved a COVID-19 booster shot for people with compromised immune systems. And a CDC committee meets later today and will likely greenlight that move.
The CDC says organ transplant recipients should be among those who get the extra dose. Dr. Anthony Fauci says everyone who received the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine will eventually need a booster shot. The Pentagon is sending 3,000 troops into Afghanistan just weeks before that August 31st drawdown date. 3 battalions are now headed to the Kabul airport to help evacuate workers from the U.S. Embassy.
And the White House says the deployment will not affect the military withdrawal plan. The Taliban have now captured 2 more provincial capitals in Afghanistan yesterday, including the country's 2 largest cities. The militants are now about 80 miles from Kabul. Today, crews are expected to finally start cleaning up and fixing the railroad tracks where a train derailed in Walsh County. Take a look. The train jumped the tracks Wednesday just north of Grafton, and it's been blocking that intersection ever since.
The Walsh County emergency manager says work on it starts today. No word yet on how long it could take. The investigation into the cause is ongoing.
6:51 on this Friday morning, starting out very chilly for some folks. 46 degrees here in the metro, Lisa.
Yeah, and that is all thanks to some cooler air that's moved in. And it's very dry here, as we know. I don't need to tell you that. With those dry conditions, when we have clear skies like that, temperatures can just drop like they have. And we're certainly seeing some cool numbers this morning. And speaking of dry, the latest drought monitor showing an intensification, dramatic looking intensification in the drought over the last week. More places have moved into the red, and in Minnesota, this deeper red streak here in northwestern Minnesota, exceptional drought. That's the highest category, and we've never been there before. So that's the first time. That's how dry it is. Just looking back to last week, just for comparison purposes, you can see a lot of places were in the orange, and then back to this week, more red on the map. So again, it's dry, and even that rain that we had on Monday night didn't do much to help us out. So dry conditions and cool conditions this morning. Here are those temperatures. We're at 39 degrees in Langdon. We've had other places drop into the 30s. One of our cool spots in the Foston area, we've been in the 30s for a couple of hours this morning. Bemidji was there. Now we're up to 40. The sun's up. It's working on warming us up now. It's 46 in Grand Forks and Fargo. So a morning where you may want to put on an extra layer, maybe that sweater, get the heater going in your car. The wind is light. It's not too bad here to start today. We will have some breezier conditions developing later, and clear skies again on our radar and satellite map. So heading out the door today, expect to have some conditions that are quiet, sunny, and will end up being a little more breezy as we head into the afternoon. Temperatures into the upper 70s to near 80 degrees coming up for this afternoon. And taking a look at the weekend, great weekend to be out at the pool or the lakes. We're going to have those temperatures warm back up to some summertime numbers, some 80s Saturday and on Sunday. We'll have sunny skies both days and some warm conditions again as we head into the weekend. Next week, that's our chance for some rain and thunder. We'll see 90 again on Tuesday and stormier weather coming up, which is exactly what we need here in the valley. So a little nice weather in the weekend and then hopefully getting a good rain next week.
Sounds great. Thank you, Lisa. Fargo parents who remain upset with the district's decision to require face masks have the opportunity to learn about homeschooling. Last night, experts shared their expertise and knowledge about what it takes to educate kids from home.
And now they addressed the laws in North Dakota and Minnesota and touched on topics like how to balance teaching multiple kids, what to do if both parents work full-time, and all the different curriculums and options that families have out there. Nina Flippins has taught her daughter from home since she was born and says keeping options open for every child is important.
It's just great to have choices. Kids are such individuals that to be able to choose what's right for a specific child is such an amazing thing.
All school districts have the authority to offer distance learning in North Dakota, and Fargo has approved this option for the 2021-22 school year. It's been 48 hours of constant phone calls and emails for Fargo public school leaders.
And they are responding to criticism and questions from parents in their district after that mask mandate. The #1 question Fargo public school parents wanted us to find out is just how long that mask mandate is going to last.
What's in place today might not be in place tomorrow. Our job is to respond to the data and to the science and to the guidance that we receive.
Gandhi says that those without a mask will be provided one and says reoccurring non-compliance will be dealt with on a case-by-case basis. There's not a specific disciplinary action plan in place.
You can find the rest of Dr. Gandhi's answers to parents' top questions on our website or the VNL News app. Just find this story. The U.S. Department of Education has approved North Dakota's plan to use federal coronavirus relief aid for schools.
The approval unlocks the remaining $101 million of more than $300 million directed to North Dakota from the American Rescue Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief Fund. The state's plan details how the federal money will be used to maintain safe schools and expand opportunities for students, especially those impacted by COVID-19. West Fargo police officers are helping kids get ready for the upcoming school year. The third annual Cops and Kids Back to School shopping event took place last night.
Officers and a few kids went to the Walmart on 55th Avenue South in Fargo to get school supplies, clothes, shoes, and other necessities. A Fargo man is walking again after a near deadly case of the West Nile virus. 40-year-old Andy McBride grew up in Fargo and graduated from Fargo North.
3 years ago, the bite from a mosquito put him in a coma. Eventually, he was in a wheelchair, but thanks to in-home therapy and sheer persistence, he's back on his feet.
I was mad at myself if I had energy at the end of the day, and I was like, oh, I didn't work hard enough, you know?
Doctors can't pinpoint exactly why his paralysis is reversing. They told him he's only the third person they've ever seen make such a reversal after facing paralysis. Some of the best cooks in town are heading to North Fargo this weekend. We're taking a live look right now at the North Dakota Horse Track, and that's where all the fun's going to be. We're not talking about the ponies, not this morning. Chefs are making their way to the venue for the annual Fargo Food Truck Festival.
Well, there might be some ponies under the hood of those food trucks, but it does run today through Sunday. Admission $2. Live look right now. There is where it's all going to be happening. Kids, inflatables, a hot dog eating contest, fry bread taco eating contest. Plus, this is my favorite. Someone called a queen. There's corgi races that is going to be happening there. A lot more. The horse park is located in the 5100 block of 19th Avenue North, just a mile or so west of I-29. I've already heard people talking about making their plans this weekend and heading up there to get something to eat. So you'll probably run into your friends and neighbors there as well.
It's going to be fun. I can almost taste the cheese curds already.
Yeah, and
so
smell it too. Choice Bank and the Great Plains Food Bank, they're working together to fight hunger. The bank is donating $20,000, which is enough to provide 60,000 meals for those in need in North Dakota and western Minnesota.
Choice Bank employees spent time with the food bank to help them pack meals and assisted with the mobile food pantry. They say it's a great way to build relationships and impact others.
In our consumer alert this morning, Wendy's is doubling down on breakfast. The fast food chain plans to invest an additional $10 million this year in advertising the breakfast menu.
The company says the breakfast lineup has been a hit despite its national rollout right as the pandemic lockdown started. Wendy's will also partner up with startup company Reef to open and operate 700 delivery ghost kitchens over the next 5 years.
Take a close look at this story. It's at the George King Thompson Climbing, the 23-story Unex Tower in London without a rope. It was the third London high-rise the solar free climber has now climbed.
Oh my goodness, it just makes me nervous watching him. The latest feat took him, he does it fast too, just 10 minutes to scale the 305-foot building. And his name may sound familiar. 2 years ago, he was in the news, and he also had to serve 3 months in prison for reaching the top of London's tallest building, the Shard. The 21-year-old former personal trainer says he wants to use his climbs to highlight awareness of climate change.
And a warning, do not try that at home, kids, if you're watching. Yeah, that is not safe. Let's get the answer now to our question of the morning on Facebook. Today's question, on average, moms spend 55 minutes a week doing this.
Well, here's your answer. Ironing their kids' clothes.
How do you feel about that answer, Lisa?
I don't do a lot of ironing of their clothes. I like the guess of like telling the kids to put their shoes on and get in the car. A lot of time spent there. The Valley Today continues on the Fargo CW.
Have a good day.